All right, good morning. Good morning. It is welcome to Big Happy Trading. It is Thursday morning, April 16th, 2026. We are live and unbelievable run. I don't have words. To hit all-time highs during war is unbelievable. And it looks like it's going to continue running. What time is it? 9:06. So it looks like we hit the all-time high, or the new high this morning around 6 a.m. at 7078. So we're 5 points off the high. And just no signs of anything pulling back. I got some interesting data and research that I did last night and early this morning. My bias is bullish. How can it be anything else? I think today, though, I do think there will be profit taking, pullback, and up higher. Jobless claims came in good. Good. Potential war conflict, war negotiation. Earnings are strong on a lot of companies. I mean, how unbelievable is this that we are in war and are hitting all-time highs? I mean, this is just, it's unimaginable to me. So yeah, I had it here. Oh, I had it over here. Yeah, so it stays on this one. So I got the 5 minute. See how my bias is bullish. Here's an interesting stat from. Let's do it on this side. Let's go to one screen so we can see better. All right, so we're gonna do this. Let's go to the daily. Oh, I don't have this sized right. That's okay. I'll put it back. And let's move this down. That's my previous. So I'm gonna put, this is unimaginable what I'm about to share with you guys here. So we've had 10 straight green days. 14 out of the last 15 days have been green. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is unbelievable. We're on the daily here. I mean, you had one quip in here, but there's not been a run like this since 1950. I did some research from a guy that I follow, and there has not been this kind of run up since, from the low to the high since 1950. I mean, that's a pretty impressive run. And the more crazy thing is this is done during it's done during wartime. I mean, we're attacking people. We've got war, people killing each other, countries at each other's throat. The Strait of Hormuz is blocked. Oil's at $100 a barrel, and our market's hitting all-time high. It makes zero sense. And the old adage that the market can stay, crazier than you can stay fluid. That's the biggest truth. Here's what I think is going to happen. Again, I don't trade on my bias. I trade on what I see. And let's go to the 15-minute here. Let's darn it. So, sorry, guys. I had to change my structure on these things. I gotta fix this. So what I think is gonna, I'm not a predictor what's gonna happen. This thing came up and never kind of done that. It's done this the last, I don't know, week, where New York runs it up, and then Asia and London don't drop it. I mean, the biggest drop we had last night was put to 59, 70, 59 on the S&P. It's crazy. So I do think there'll be some profit taking. Is it going to be at the bell? I don't know. But I do think there'll be some profit taking. So let's go. Let's get both screens back up here. I got my financial juice on. This guy already gave me job numbers.
Voice news disconnected.
I'm gonna make sure my voice is connected. Okay, he's connected, so we can hear him.
At 9:15 a.m. East Time, use industrial production forecast 0.1% price, 0.2%. Use capacity utilization forecast 76.3%, unchanged from the prior. US manufacturing output month to month 0.1% for the forecast, price 0.2%. And US industrial production year on year, prior 1.44%.
So there's nothing but what the market's considering good news. So let's go over quick news before I get back to the charts. Google, employers are being cautious with new hires. Intel launches, blah, blah, blah. Anything good here? Lots of stuff. Anything? We look for red. This was at 8:17. Lebanese embassy in Washington informed U.S. administration that Lebanese president would not speak to Israel. So, okay. Well, we'll just wait for any big breaking news. We shall see.
Resources. The army is preparing to stop hostilities this evening between 7 and 7 p.m. to midnight.
Okay. All right. Let's get the. Sorry, guys. I have a landline for my office.
Again, from Israeli newspaper Hertz, on military sources, the army is preparing to stop hostilities this evening between 7 p.m. to midnight. That's similar to going out to get the US industrial production month to month, lead with the US industrial production month to month.
All right, I'm live. We look good.
Ten seconds. Still waiting. Minus 0.5%, minus 0.5%, lower than the forecast of 0.1%. Manufacturing output month to month, minus 0.1%, minus 0.1%, lower than the forecast of 0.1%. US capacity utilization, 75.7%, 75.7%, lower than the forecast of 76.3%. So again, industrial production coming in at minus 0.5%, lower than the forecast of 0.1%. No reaction from the markets back of that data.
Oh, so that's the low. That's the first.
You're seeing prior revisions coming through. Industrial production month to month, prior revised to 0.7% from 0.2%. Manufacturing production output month to month, prior revised to 0.4% from the original prior of 0.2%. And capacity utilization prior revised to 76.1% from 76.3%. Fitzwilliams says that he notes a wave of investors wanting to get out of private credit. Fitzwilliams says private credit issues are not broader financial stability risk. Also, just seeing the year-on-year for industrial production coming in at 2.4%. Fitzwilliams says the Fed is closely following bank exposure to private credit and to private equity.
All right, 9:17. Market opens in 13 minutes. All right, let's go over some more information. And so I've got.
Police Chancellor Merz from the Strait of Hormuz says coalition agrees we are in principle ready to provide assistance given the international mandate or a mandate from the German Parliament. Williams says it's harder to see what's happening in non-bank lending.
All right, so the Europeans are all coming around and saying now they want to help for the Strait of Hormuz. Now that it's kind of looking like there might be something.
Williams says home loan bank system is very important.
All right, let's go back to this. So I had someone message me that's using the same strategy, and you see on the right screen I have a 15-minute and on the 5, and typically you'll see me with the 5 on the left and the 1 minute on the right. However,
Europe 600 index extends gains to session high of 0.5%.
I've warned against this in the past. When you use this,
says home loan bank system is a unique source of liquidity.
Voice news disconnected.
I'm going to disconnect them for a while I'm doing a quick analysis. I don't think anything big is going to happen. We'll see. Anyway, using the 1 minute, I've gotten so many fake outs last week that got me into trades where the 5 minute didn't confirm. And then if I stayed in the 5 minute, I would have had much bigger trades. So, hey, good morning, Generak. Hey, yeah, I got in on some 1 minutes that faked me out, and if I would have just stayed in on the 5 minutes, then I would have been golden. So, following my own advice, really, especially if you're new, do not use this 1 minute confirmations to get into your trades. You're better to get in a little later, but just using the 5 minutes on the cross. And this market's been just spectacularly unbelievable, given everything that's going on. So right now we're going to have the 5 minute on the left and the 15. And I'm just getting on. So buy this, both the 5 and the 15. 70.67, which is 5 points ago, we should have been long. But I'm not in. I was getting the boys off to school and looking on, and I want to see what's going to happen. We've had 10 straight days. 10 straight days of green, in essence. And that hasn't happened since 1950. So my thesis, I'm bullish, but my thesis is to be bullish with profit taking. That's my thesis. Retrace and higher. So the high is, and that's this morning at 6 a.m. The high is 7078, and the low from the low yesterday 69.91. So we had an 87 points move. Today we're only up 10 points. But I'm thinking there's going to be a retrace of some sort. You know, whether it's a quick 20, 30 points, I don't know. And then, so we've seen this 5-minute cross. This is kind of wishy-washy. This is not a good strategy for this sideways garbage going in and out on the 15 and the 5. I mean, if you got in here at 67, 68, you're up 2 points because where it's coming down. So I'm looking short, to be honest with you guys, on the open. There was a lot of news. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good, so it didn't blow the socks off anybody. Put this over here. Let's turn our guy back on now that I'm done talking, so we can hear if anything significant happens prior to the. So there's 6 minutes to the open. So pre-market's looking like looks like it wants to open higher slightly, but I don't think we're going to just rip to, you know, I don't think we're just going to rip this 7,100. But again, I could be wrong. My bias is still bullish. But I think there's going to be an opportunity to go short here. But you're going to have to, I think you're going to have to be quick. I don't think lightning quick. I think we should get some fairly decent trends. I think if any news pops up, that we need to be cautious of that. So maybe a potential push up early and a quick retrace. Dump at the open. Real helpful, right? It could go up, it could go down. That's my thesis. That's why you guys signed in here. Brilliance, right, Jenner?
So using Dutch production coming in at 0.74%.
So I changed the recipe. This is good for your digestion.
Okay, yeah. That was the yogurt oatmeal you gave me was good. Yeah, thank you. Beautiful, thank you.
Burning hot.
Oh, hot.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
okay.
boiling.
Okay, I'll put it right here. Thank you.
So even though I don't show it, but I think
I'm live. That's okay. Oh, excuse me, I'll step my.
you need a sign on air.
That house is extraordinary, actually. I mean, it's weird the layout, but it's got really big potential. I'll tell you the biggest thing I'm most excited about, since you're a crap person. That entire basement will hold everything that we don't use in the garage and through the entire. It's the whole diameter of the house. It's humongous. We can stack Christmas stuff up here, all the stuff. And I can make the garage just into a gym. That's what I want to do. I want to move my gym equipment out of that so I can get the boys working out and me working out.
One minute go out to get the marker and open imbalance.
It's
You're live but watching.
no, that's I have a squawk box. It's live news at the same time. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go and show you stuff. I'm selling stuff.
Okay, all right. And my wife.
On the lane says the increase with NATO's threats work closely together in the next few weeks to strengthen the EU-NATO relationship and prepare for a successful summit in Ankara, Turkey.
What's the Dow looking? Let's look at the Dow real quick on the 15. No, on the 5. Let's go back to the ES here. Let's go to the.
Less than 10 seconds to go now to the marker and open imbalance.
Yeah, bullish. There you go. Yeah, I was gonna say that looks real bullish. All right, so let's see what market's up.
Open imbalance. S&P 500 sell side 3.3 million. Nasdaq 100 sell side 13.8 million. Dow 30 buy side 21 million, and Mag 7 sell side 17 million.
We'll go to the 1 minute just so we can see some action here, though I'm not going to use it today. Yeah. Yeah, kind of like yesterday, it didn't rip, it just grinded up. But there's gotta be, I shouldn't say gotta, I shouldn't use a definite term like this, but I said there's certainly going to be some where people are going to be profit taking. And that's my anticipation for today. And I could be wrong, but we'll let the market tell me what to do. Let the signals tell us what to do.
Seeing US listed shares of Taiwan Semiconductor down almost 2% after Q1 results and outlook. Iran told Pakistan that US must fulfill commitments, this according to Tasnim News. In Iran told Pakistan that US must fulfill commitments. We've already seen comments from Galibaf yesterday. He said on his X post that needs to be done. So according to IFA's news, Iranian oil tankers have transported 11 million barrels of oil through the Sea of Oman towards their destinations since the announcement of naval blockade.
Okay, so they're taking oil through Oman, which is. So Iran's letting it go through Oman, so it's kind of a workaround for them to save face. Yeah, I agree. Generally, it's gonna. I think. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be huge, but I mean, like I said, I originally thought my bias was bullish, going up early, and then I think there's going to be some kind of profit taking or sell off. But again, it's going to tell us what to do here.
Charles Schwab says crypto to offer direct Bitcoin and Ethereum trading.
So I'm going to go back to the 15-minute on the reg, because I'm not going to get swayed by that 1 minute. Then let's look at the NQ on the 5-minute. That was looking weak. Oh yeah, look at the NQ's dumping. Huh. Interesting. This is the 5-minute on the NQ. Let's look at the YM dumping. What's the Russell doing? Russell rip what? Look at the Russell. What in the world is going on here? Okay, so the Russell's ripping. NQ's dumping. It dumped hard. The YM ripped higher and is coming all the way back. I think that's a sign that the S&P, if the NQ is down, it looks like it wants to go down. I think the ES is going to go down as well. It's looking pretty strong, but let's look at, so the YM, look at that move. Holy cow. 48,871. That was a 150 point candle. That'll give you some hard, but the Nasdaq is wanting to dump. That would have been a good short right there. I mean, this is the 5-minute, and this is we clearly crossed. You can see the 9 crossed hard here. That would have been a good entry on the NQ. You'd already be up 407. You'd be up 50 points already on the NQ short. But I think the ES wants to roll over. But again, we're gonna wait for the cross. I can think what I'm gonna think. Yeah, exactly. Capital preservation, my brother. That NQ is hitting the toilet. NQ from the top. So 90 points from the top and dumping. My goodness, my wife brought me tea that could burn the flesh off of somebody. It's so hot. Oh, here comes the RTY back to Earth. Now, the Dow, Grandpa wants to run still. So NQ is leading the dump. Do we believe that ES is going to follow? I believe so.
We have put the article out from Tasman News again. Iran and Pakistan that US must fulfill commitments.
On my broker.
And we also emphasize that the US must drop excessive demands.
On my broker that I trade on, the cross, the 9 and the 20 cross is almost identical to TradingView, but because I have this big fat line, I know it's kind of hard to see where the 9 crosses. All right, so we're back to the ES on the 15 on the right screen and 5 minute on the left screen. Hey, what we haven't talked about is it could be absolutely a ranging day where they do what they did during Asia and London and it just stays up there. But it looks like this thing wants to come over with, let's keep NQ up on the other side on the 5 minute. Let's see how that reacts. If that continues going south, I think, yeah, it looks like we're close to getting this cross on the 9 is close to crossing. Someone asked me a good question the other day of how do I trade just on the cross or do I wait for a candle close? It's safer to wait for a candle close. I found in my back testing. So we're crossing right now, but let's wait till this 5 minute closes. So we've got 1 minute. And next candle is going green. See, we crossed, but then we're going to rip right back up. So we need confirmation. This first candle at the open, this was just kind of a doji indecision. Then we pushed down. We're crossing here. I think this wants to reject and come back down.
Spain to sink EU plans to boost companies. Further
Patience.
detail into this, then, the Chinese government is pressuring Spain to help forward EU proposals aimed at making the bloc's companies more competitive, according to a person familiar with the matter. Spanish PM Sanchez met President Xi Jinping in Beijing this week when Chinese officials complained that Europe was becoming too protectionist.
Holy monkey dump. There it dumps. There it goes. All right, so we are in at an average of, I went short on this cross aggressive, 7066. Seven zero six 6675. I may pop right back and rip us, but that was this is pretty aggressive move, so we'll see. Pretty early to get in, but that's a pretty strong cross. So we are short. $70.66. It's a pretty big dump on the CCI as well. Yeah, the NQ looks like it's is weak, but YM's coming back down. Russell's coming back down. NQ's starting to climb back up. ES is climbing back against me, which is not good. I will be patient. The YM's dumping. The RTY, it went to the moon, is kind of settling back down. You see on the 5 minute here, we've crossed. I don't like to see that line climb up, but if we come up back here, pop through, reject off the 20, and come back down, that's usually a pretty good sign that will it's going to go in our favor. You had to move quick on this thing to get in. You saw how fast when I saw that thing dumped it to get in at 7066. You know, I was just someone was messaging me and I was talking to him about it. I'm like, one of the best things is you just have to click the buttons based on the information you get. Now, a little earlier, could you have waited for another candle you absolutely could have, because the candle I got in on went red and then actually came up and turned green. So it could have waited for another confirmation. If this candle turns red, this would have been a better entry confirmation. But sometimes you gotta be bold, you know, and go off the signal that goes. The first candle did close as it crossed, so this is I don't want to say 50-50, but I've got the RTY over here. Let's keep the NQ. I think it's the best correlation. The NQ and the ES typically move well together. Oops. I say I'm at 706675. Somewhere in that range. Yeah, yesterday I got in on a candle on a big drop on a retrace, and then I had to sit there and hold that thing for a while for it to come back, and then it ran up. But this market's crazy. The amount of shorts that have been murdered over the last 10 days has to be legendary. Because I know that, I think a stat I share with you, listen to this. Not since 1950 has there been a 10-day run up of positive, nothing but green pulling everything up days. Not 1950, was it 75 years, 76? I mean, it's ridiculous. So, every short guy on the planet is going, all right, this is it. We're hitting the pooper. This thing's going into the skids. I mean, every guy on the planet, I can almost guarantee it. And I shorted a couple times. I got out, without getting murdered. But I mean, I shorted. Okay, this has got to hit. I shorted the 1 minute. That's where I was making mistakes, and then it would come down to 5 minute and then punch me right in the nose. The NQ has been real strong because there's been a lot of good tech news as well. Tech, a lot of quality tech stuff going on. Hey, Jenrick, did you see the thumbnail I used on the video? I used ChatGPT for that today. It's unbelievable. The companies that make thumbnails, I think they're going to be going out of business. And there was a whole industry on that. I think on Fiverr and all kinds of places. No worries. I was just curious. It's like literally, I wrote on there, I write in the ChatGPT, hey, live New York session, live trading New York session, S&P 500 or whatever you write there, and it just creates. You go modify this, remove that, do this. It literally took me like 3 minutes to create a thumbnail, save it so I can use it forever. And I used to, not that I'm a big YouTube guy, but I used to be able to. You would go on Fiverr, and someone would go, okay, I'll create you thumbnail for like $5, or you can get you know, 10 for $50 or whatever. You can get like a bundle of them. And then, and for, it was another channel I was doing with, you know, investing, teaching kids to invest thing. So we created several, but now those guys are dead.
US Trade Representative Grace traveled to Mexico Monday amid USMCA discussions, according to Mexico's economy minister.
All right, so it looks like the NQ is going down. The YM is, RTY is going down. Grandpa is just kind of, YM, the Dow is just kind of hanging there. All right, now we're starting to go in our favor here. It's looking good. All right, it's dumping now. That's good, 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 good. All right, I love when a plan comes together.
Iran's planned Hormuz toll to be paid by Iranian banks, according to ISNA. So again, ISNA reports Iran's planned Hormuz toll to be paid by Iranian banks. That's Iran's ISNA citing parliament official on Hormuz law. So just keep an eye on the markets. The S&P 500 seeing a little bit of movement towards the downside on the S&P 500, a little bit of movement towards the upside on the Dixie. Just as we get the headline that Iran's planned Hormuz toll to be paid by Iranian banks, according to ISNA.
All right, short's working out, guys. So we'll put a first, we'll take one contract at 7046-ish range.
Just keeping an eye on other areas. Gold seeing a little bit of downside movement off the back of the Iran headline from ISNA. S&P 500 index turning negative. Bitcoin also seeing movement towards the downside as well. There are no other headlines to the back of moves other than the ISNA headline.
All right, looking good. That's really dumping in our favor. It's looking good. Actually, this thing just keeps tumbling down. I'm just going to leave. Yeah, I've got 7046 to take one. But if this is going to keep dumping, I'm watching the 1 minute on the other chart here. If this just keeps going south, I don't want to. Trade management is a big deal, guys. So I've moved my stop. So we are dropping like a cold hard stone. Yeah, it's a good one. Thanks, General. Yeah, just trade the plan. And this is where where the trade management comes into play is, this is where my wins, where you can be 50, 60%, but you got to manage these trades. And when it's dropping,
likely gave Chinese entities satellite images.
I used to take profit way too early. I would be paranoid that it's going to go back against me. I take profit, and then it goes my direction. That's why having multiple
says we should have fresh discussion about joint Eurobond issuance.
Multiple contracts. You got to have multiple. Trading. If you're going to trade micros and having multiple contracts,
it's a good time to discuss Eurobonds again.
we're ripping back up, but
Milner adds that satellite imagery was of US military assets. So again, Milner, commenting on the statement on Airbus satellite imagery, says that satellite imagery was of US military bases, US military assets.
yeah, the NQ would have been a bigger trade. And yeah, I had someone that tell me that they use my strategy. This not my strat. They use this strategy on the NQ very successfully. A guy emailed me and asked me for my free PDF. And he said he's been using this on the NQ for years, and he said he's had really good success. I've been since I got, I don't know, I don't want to say gun shy. I was trading way too many things. I said, let's simplify. Let's go to S&P. I can use today. I saw, and we were looking at that, right? The NQ. If I would have gotten the NQ, it crossed earlier. That would have been a humongous trade. We'll look at that in a minute. I'm just managing this one.
So emerging currency index hits low for the day as oil prices spike again, off the back of the headline that Iran's planned Hormuz toll to be paid by Iranian banks, according to ISNA News.
I'm not sure why that Iranian bank's paying is bad news or whatever, but that's all right. I could use some bad news right now. Let's continue with some bad news. I think this is basing. I may just take one off at the 7 if we get back down near the 746, 748, and then we've got another contract here. We're looking good. Sure, Jed, drop me an email. I'll send it to you. If you look down in the comments, my email's in there. It's real simple. It's just a trading plan, my core philosophy, that kind of stuff. It's nothing deep. And just the rules. Okay, I took one off with 10 points, and we are not going to give it all back if it runs back to me. By my rules, we got no risk trade. We took one off, and we're going to let this sucker run. I'm not going to touch it. If it comes back and takes me out at break even, then we still made 10 points. We make 10 points. So, and then we can always get back in. Just my trading psychology, I don't like to see everything, continue to run and get back at me. So right now now I can sit there and talk to you. We took a few bucks off, and now we are in a no risk trade. Let me set the stop here. There we go, 7. Yeah, I'm going to go a few points inside, so we're guaranteed we cover all the fees and everything. So yeah, I think this thing's going down. All right. Okay, so here, I'll give you my All right, yeah. If you guys want to get my copy of my PDF or my trading plan, just drop me an email at bighappytradingfreedom@gmail.com.
Treasury gains fade, 10-year yield unchanged on the day. Again, let's post the Iran headline. Seeing a post from US Central Command about on X about Hormuz blockade. Central Command says 14 vessels have turned around to comply with blockade. Again, US Central Command on X says 14 vessels have turned around to comply with blockade. China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi says priorities to push the US and Iran back to negotiations.
We need to get Israel to get in there negotiating as well about the Lebanon stuff. I'm not a global strategist, but man, they got to stop fighting with those other guys as well. Everyone's got to stop fighting for a minute to get this thing resolved. Yeah, I'll send that to you in just a minute, brother. Yeah, I'm not liking seeing this green candle, but by my rules, I'm gonna let this run a little bit and see what happens. I got another profit target set at 20 points at 7046. And our low of the day is, actually, I missed me by one tick. The low of the day is 7046.25. Actually, I've moved it down. I'm at 7042, and I don't know why I did that. I just moved. That's all right. That's a few points among friends. But that 1 minute the 1 minute on the ES, and it looks like the NQ that wants to climb back up, which that's exactly my thesis. I thought there'd be profit taking, bounce down, and then back to bullish. I don't think we're falling off a cliff because there's no news to justify falling off a cliff. But it looks like it's going to come back and get me here for a break even. So we still have a winning trade. These are ones that now they don't hurt. I'm not losing any money, but in hindsight, you should have just taken my 20 points and gotten all the way out. Nah, given my bias, probably, but I don't look back. I sure could use a Trump tweet going, he hates everyone in the world and wants to obliterate the entire planet. That way we could dump, 200 points on the yeah, this is going to come back. I was climbing right back. Yeah, this is my thesis today. My thesis was we would take profit taking early based on the signs, and then we'd be back bullish. So this is right. I don't want to be right on this one. I want to go down a little more, but that's okay. Are you in any trades, Derek? Did you get in anything? Someone else asked me about trade management on when I get up 10 points
after hitting intraday record high, fast down about 0.2%, again off the back of the Iran headline.
When I get up 10 points, I move my stops to break even. Has a trade ever come right back, hit my stop, and then gone back in the direction I want to go? Absolutely, that has happened. Absolutely, that has happened. But here's from my trading psychology, and you do you, I do me, is if I'm up 10 points and a trade comes back all the way up and I lose 10 points, my brain, I take that as I had a winner, it turned into a loser, and I just don't deal with that well. The next time I want to click the button when I see my setup, I'm hesitant to do it in my mind. So when I move, if I have multiple contracts, which I did, and I take a winner, and then I have one at break even, or I make $4 or $5, $10, whatever, $15, whatever it is, and I set it at break even, but I don't lose any money, and I know the setup was good, and I traded good, and I managed good. I have no problem with that. Like, this is about to come up and take me out, but I am profitable on the day, so I'm starting the day with winning trades. I have no risk on the table, and it's working out. So I don't know. It's just me. I know there's a lot of big people who have bigger counts will go, okay, it goes back up. If you think your thesis is right, the 9 is still below the 20. Let it come all the way back to the 20. And again, you do you. We're below. Everything is looking good now. We're below VWAP on this. Okay. We're below the 200, which I have on another screen, which is just another confluence. So the 9 is below the 20. My stop is set at 7061 for me to get out with another few point win.
Regards to Iran plan
706150. So if this comes up 2 more points, it's going to take me out, and I'm okay with that.
So according to the Strait of Hormuz bill, foreign ships can settle accounts through the offices in Iran or Iran's banking system in the region.
Iran's plan Hormuz told to be paid.
The bill regulating traffic in the strait hasn't yet been finalized or voted on by the parliament.
Oh, I see what the news was earlier.
Revenue from managing traffic is estimated at $10 billion to $15 billion without specifying a timeline.
Okay,
says it must be aimed at strengthening the real.
I was misunderstanding the news when he was reporting. So I ran looking at the red news, and that's why I
Chris
love.
Williams coming through with comments here says that underlying inflation trends show mixed picture. Now is not a good time for the Fed to give firm forward guidance. We're in the right place for monetary policy. Inflation will be well above 3% over the next few months. The longer the conflict lasts, the bigger the economic impact will be. Market pricing balancing strong gives outlook versus war uncertainty. Some market strength is due to US exposure to oil shock. War shock is about prices, but also unavailable commodities. Well-anchored inflation expectations are important. A cyber risk is a thing that keeps me up at night.
I see what they're talking about here. So Iran is going to charge. All right, my stop's about to be hit in profit. Okay, so we're out of the trade. Profitable trade. So we got 14 points out of that one. But I see here what Iran. So let's go. We'll come back to that. But let's go back to my trade management. So so we got total profit. We're plus 14 points. There's nothing to write home about, but we're starting out profitable. Now, by the strategy, we're still short, right? We should come back here. But again, this is just my trading psychology. If this comes back and comes back and gets me, then yeah, I should be in it. I should still be in the trade. That's and it can go in my direction, but I have no remorse on this at all. So but now I see what they're talking about. Let's go back to the news here. So Iran is going to be charging a toll, and it's got to be paid to Iranian banks. I see what they're saying here. So
reminder, there have been talks in the past week or so that we could have another round of discussions being held in Pakistan next week. China's chip production efforts outlined in House panel report.
All right, so let's look at the NQ. Yeah, we were talking earlier about the NQ. Yeah, the NQ would have been a nice trade. So you get on this first cross. Yeah, that would have been a nice one.
House China panel issues a report on China and AI.
So the YM's in the pooper. RTY is climbing back up. The YM is really lagging. Yesterday I tried a YM long and I got stopped out. I had my stop too tight. Those NQ on the right. Yeah, see so ES came and popped up here. If this thing comes back to the 7066 and rejects, then I will absolutely get back in. So actually, rejection off this 9 would have been good. entry. We're good. We're good. So this is where the psychology of other people like Kiss is that now it's going right back down in my direction. But I have no remorse on this one, guys. Um, I did early profit taking in an uncertain market. The only thing I could have done better here is put it right to the 70 because I had it 7062. I could have put it right at break even at 7066, which I would still be in the trade. Which in hindsight, probably pretty good. I don't mind admitting when I make trade management errors, but I'm in profit. I'm a profitable trader, so that's is what it is. Thesis was right though. Profit taking, some retrace would never. I know there's some guys were.
According to Al-Shah correspondent, there is a phone call being held between Trump and Lebanese President Al.
Oh, look at that. All right, Jenna, I just sent you the email, brother. I'm looking to see, is there any opportunities here in this YM is going into the toilet. NQ is going down. Actually, let's use the right screen. Let's keep this on the ES. Left screen will stay on the ES, and we'll use the right screen too. RTY is going in the toilet. NQ also. Yeah, I'm not catching a falling knife there. Look at that sucker.
Kevin's going out to go the EI natural gas change data forecast is for a build of 59 BCF. Prior was a build of 50 BCF.
So 300-point drop in the Dow. That's a pretty big drop. I've seen the Dow drop 1,000 points though, so it's not like that's a scary movie. So overall on the ES, according to TradingView, we're only down, overall 11 points from the. I think we're going to be range bound. I think this is it. We're going to sell off. We're going to retrace. So let me know if you got the email. Generac, what's your name, brother? I don't know. I'm calling you Generac.
According to banking panel Democrats, Walsh hearing should be delayed. So again,
What's
it's
up,
not
Ty?
confirmed, but banking panel Democrats say that Walsh's hearing should be delayed.
Cool. What did I write about? Yeah.
So reminder with Walsh, his Senate
How
hearing
much is it going
is
to cost
supposed
to
to
get
be
the
on
road
the
moving?
21st of April at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So there's no change to that, but it's just Senate banking panel
Oh, you don't know how to
Democrats
do it.
signing a letter on
Just-
Walsh hearing.
Sure.
So again, as I said, no change to it. We'll see what happens and update you as soon as we can.
Yeah, okay. Let's. That's what I said. Let's see if one of our guys. So Zach is the one who moved into 42, 41. Oh, Zach is moving into 23. I see, but he hasn't moved in yet. But okay, but he knows how to do that. Okay. Okay. Well, have him take a look at it. Let him. Okay. All right. Let me know. All right. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. Looks like short is still the way.
The EIA natural gas report forecasts for a build 59 BCF. Prior was a build of 50 BCF. Also, a reminder, in about 10 minutes' time, Fed's Myron is also due to speak as well, speaking in a moderated conversation on global macroeconomics at the Washington Economic Festival. Securing on the markets, gilts falling, 30 yield up by 5 basis points at about 5.54%.
So
We'll also get the video out for Fed's Myron on the feed shortly. Reminder with Fed's Myron, no text is expected, but there is a Q&A with moderator. According to Iranian TV, the commander of the Qatam al-Anbiya headquarters informed the commander of the Pakistan army that the war started due to the enemy's miscalculation of capabilities.
Man, there was a good short on gold earlier too. I'll trade gold once in a blue moon. Yeah, the NQ did confirm earlier on the 9 cross. Let me confirm right here. That was a big candle on the red in the open. What would that have been? Let's just say you got in at 26,406. Yeah, it would have been a 100-point move. We probably would have set an order at,
According to Iranian
profit at
TV,
100
Iranian
points,
military
50
commander
points.
informed
It's a
commander
big
of
move.
Pakistan Army of Iran's readiness to respond forcefully to any aggression.
Given both these guys look like they just want to grind back up. The YM I don't trust. Hold on, let me keep everything on the right. The YM I don't trust this thing at all. Even with the other ones coming up. Even with the ES and the NQ coming up, the YM doesn't look like it wants to. What's the Russell doing?
One minute ago now to get the EIA natural gas report. Also, about 5 minutes ago, we're expected to hear from FedSmart.
Yeah, everything, even on the higher time frames, is crossed for a short bias. And boy, have I learned my lesson trading, trying to capture these bottoms and going against my strategy. I will just be patient and sit here and drink coffee and do other things productive. If anything, what I'll do when I see this
10 seconds
early,
to the data.
this is when, what kind of data we got coming up, he says here. Fear and greed is still,
Build
that's
59
crypto's
BCF,
extreme
build
fear.
59 BCF
And the stock
as
market's in
expected.
greed. That's hilarious. I'm still on the screen to see what kind of information he's dropping. I don't know what it is. All right, so crypto's fear and greed is still an extreme fear. And just in the last 10 days, we went from fear to greed in the stock market.
We
Not
have posted
shocking.
out the weekly EIA natural gas change report on the feed for you to read through.
So let's look at the 1 minute on. All right. So if I was going to try to capture a long back, and this is where I'll use the 1 minute. Someone was asking me about this before, someone who sent me an email. I'll gamble on the 1 minute using the EMA Cross when the 1 minute here. But here's the problem: you get these big fake outs here, right?
1% after EIA reports bigger than expected storage build.
So when this, if you're losing the 1 minute on this, and you got confirmation, say you get in at 7057, it went 4 points and then reversed on you and dumped. So this is extremely dangerous to me. If we're using confluence like other indexes that are climbing, but this is the only way I would try to get back in long. But right now, my bias is using the 5 minute is just
We have posted out the link
a better
to
play.
FedSmart.
Better play would be when you trace back to the 9, go short again. I like to see a retrace closer to the 20, but the confluences that are good is we're still below VWAP, we're still below the 200. So those are all good confluences to continue to look short. And that's been one of my biggest things is, and you're getting these downward candles, these hammer candles with big wicks on top pushing down, pushing down. This one was kind of in the middle. But even on the NQ, you got candles that are pushing. You got green candles, but they're really, you see, there's selling pressure on this thing. So if we come up near 70, 60, I'd love to see it come back up closer to 70, 63, 70, 65. But if we come up near 70, 60, I'd like to get short again. But again, curvature matters. So here on the NQ, you see this curvature of the 9 curling up. That tells me that maybe the ES is going to be lagging and wants to come back up as well. So that's where we might look back to the 1 minute. So these are small things that I do. If you're not experienced, don't trade like this.
Shortly expected here, Professor Byron. Again, no text is to be expected, but there is Q&A.
So now you're crossing, the 1 is crossing, the NQ is climbing back, the 1 is crossing here. If you wanted to go long here, along on the close of this 1 minute candle, but see, you're getting a red candle here. There's the 1 minute, but see, you see the 5 minute is miles away from crossing
Still
the
no
20.
further details in regards to the phone call.
So this is where I've gotten hurt on this in the past, where I try to go long and try to catch this catch-up move. Not saying it can't work, I'm just telling you I've gotten hurt doing this. We're going back to the 1 minute so you can see what I'm doing here. If anything, I still think it's a short. Hey, let me know if you got that email that I sent you, Generac. All right, so this 1 minute cross here is so wishy-washy, but if anything, on the 5 minute, if this NQ gets back up here, yeah, because on my broker, I've got the 1 minute and the 5 minute, and like I said, they move pretty close to my trading view charts, and I use the trading view as the main decision maker. Yeah, NQ wants to go back up. Wants to retrace it all, it looks like.
Now, Axios citing that Trump spoke to Lebanese President Orm. So we've already said this, but see if there's any further detail. So nothing else from the Axios reporter. According to a Thai report being cited by Israel's Hayom, says that Trump informed Lebanon's president that a ceasefire would be declared in the coming hours.
Yeah, based on our strategy, guys, anytime we're coming back, I'm touching this 9, you're still short. It's tempting to look at this 1 minute and go, okay, we're going to cross here and I'm going to get in earlier. I'm going to catch a big run. But I would warn you against that. I did it a couple times last week and it burned me where I got small wins. And if I would have just stayed in the 5 based on the strategy, I would have had huge wins. So small wins versus huge wins, and a couple losses that I didn't want, but I never want a loss. But even though the NQ, they usually move similarly, but not always. And sometimes one will lead the other. That's why I like to bounce between them. Look at the YM. Let me keep the ES on the left side. So let's look at the YM, which is still in the toilet and going down. The RTY.
Says even before the war, underlying composition of inflation was getting more problematic for the Fed.
So short is still the play, folks. And I know there's a lot of guys that religiously.
Says, at this point, we might only see 3 cuts for the rest of the year.
I know a lot of guys religiously believe in this VWAP bounce. If we come up and hit this VWAP and then we reject off that, especially if we're going short. I mean, that's not a bad. To me, with my strategy, I got 2 things: is the 20, the VWAP below the VWAP we're short. Above VWAP, we like to be long. That's not always certainty, but that's by the rules that I use. So we're definitely in short territory. And a couple times we came back to 7.
Military advisors threatening to sink U.S. ships patrolling the Strait of Hormuz during the ongoing blockade of Iranian ports. Fitzmaurice says still reasonable to expect core goods price and housing inflation to continue to come down.
So the market's been open. We're an hour and 11 minutes in. So patience.
Again, to quote that last headline coming from Fox News.
So the reality is, looking at this from the open, we had a high of.
Reminder with that article from Fox News just coming out from about an hour earlier ago. Fitzmaurice says a year from now, 12-month PCE could be around 2% target.
So just
something that's been re-put out by Fox News here.
So relatively small range so far. From the open, we spiked up.
Fitzmaurice says I favor 3, maybe 4 cuts this year.
So 27, 28 points range so far in an hour and 11 minutes. Not huge. I think we're just going to pretty much be ranging today. I think there could be some opportunities to play the range.
But Fitzmaurice says at this point, I don't think energy shock has changed the outlook for inflation between the 12 to 18 months from now compared to before the war. Fitzmaurice says there's no evidence of a wage price spiral developing, Long-term expectations are anchored.
Man, the NQ moves so fast, you guys. That's one thing I'm looking at it on my brokerage. It just, it's a psychopath. It moves so fast. And I know a lot of adrenaline junkies love it. It's not moving fast on TradingView there, but on the broker, I mean, each tick, each 25-cent tick, it'll move.
Myron says the war has increased the
It
distribution
moves
of risks
5 points in
around the
5
moderate
seconds. It's like, curvature matters. Do you see the curvature of this 9 going up? If we see the curvature start to roll up here on the 5, on the ES, this is where I might say, okay, we use the 1, we get a few bars confirmation, we might go long, watching the NQ moving in correlation.
So Lebanese President Owen spoke to Trump by phone. This quantity too locally is official now, and it's being cited by major news wires a bit more.
Yeah, the ES moves like such a psychopath. It scares me. Not, I shouldn't be say scared. It's just it's I got in one time, and maybe this is why I'm gun shy. If we see that NQ break that VWAP on the right hand side, that's a really good sign, and I think the NQ could follow, or the ES could follow.
Myron says attributing goods inflation to tariffs is unwarranted.
Yeah, it's broken through VWAP. I think it's, if we get a retrace back to 7055, I might go long on the ES, on the S&P 7055. I don't want to chase it. Let's look at it on the 5. When we see the curvature up here looks good, and it wants to climb. And if it goes without me, that's fine. I can wait till this cross goes if it wants to go all the way back. I mean, we're talking about 27-point range here.
Myron says it's irresponsible to blame tariffs for any array of forces that have driven prices higher. Lebanon president says that Trump is committed to reaching the ceasefire. Energy Secretary Wright says the US is going to take more steps to keep gasoline prices down.
Actually, guys, I'm going to use discipline today. I'm not going to get in on this 1 minute, which could be a mistake on the retrace here. We had this run up here at 7058. Even though this NQ has broken this VWAP here,
and house hearing.
I'm going to stick to my 5-minute rules, and I'm going to be patient. I may be an hour. I'm going to wait. If we get a rejection off the 20 here, even though we have curvature up, I'd still like I'm still leaning short, even though this NQ is looking real strong. Let's look at these other guys here.
So
YM is also coming up. RTY is coming up. So yeah, maybe
request for ceasefire as soon as possible.
Oh, let's not go. Let's go 5 minute over here.
And
let's go
conversation here. Also surrounded. Also was talking about ensuring peace and stability permanently.
Here's the other thing you got to consider as well. So if our all-time high 7078, right? We're 20 points away from all-time high. So it's not like we have a humongous range. I don't think we're going to exceed all-time highs today. And again, I could be 1,000,000% wrong. But I'm just trading my strategy. And then when you have money in the bank, you can be more conservative. But yeah, this thing wants to go.
Says there's no reason to believe.
If this doesn't reject up to 20, which it doesn't, if this goes through the VWAP, then we're gonna wait for this 5 to come up and get in here long. But it looks like it's going along with everything else. Let's look at this. The ES, the YM. The YM may be a better play. But let's see if we get a rejection here off of.
As Myron says, at this point,
I think we may get a rejection.
A neutral rate estimated as low as 2.5%. Again, Myron says, at this point, I feel the Fed should be heading to a neutral rate estimated as low as 2.5%. Neutral policy rate is about 0.5%.
Okay, we're trading the system. I got in at 0.706,150. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to get out real fast, guys. So if this doesn't reject, I'm setting a 5-point, 706,150. We're trading the system. But if this goes goes 706,650, then we're out. Because we're not giving back our profit. And it looks like it's going to go against us.
Myron says economic growth and the unemployment rate have not been as closely correlated as in the past. Causes uncertain, but could be related to AI.
Yeah, so we're just above 706,650. We're really, I'm not kidding. I'm giving this, 706,550. We're putting a really tight leash on this dog. Because here's the thing, guys, trading the system and trading the 5-minute to me has just been a better play over my career of trading this for 5 years. Now, whether this works out right, we're in at 7060. 7060 short, and I've got a 5-point stop on this one. So I'm at 7065.50. So if this comes back up and breaks VWAP, it's going to take me out for just a tiny 5-point loss. But I'm trading. I'm being disciplined and
Yeah,
trading.
consider the video where US Energy Secretary Wright is speaking live on the P2P to watch.
We're at 7061 is where we're at, and we are at 5.
So just a heads
Whopping
up,
5 points.
was tested by Senate Finance hearing.
And given the range here, I mean, we'll just set this at 10.10-ish. But it may not, it may come all the way back up. So let's see. Capital preservation, job 1, right? So if that comes back up and breaks through, then we're done. We will put a target down here.
Fed's Myron says shifts in consumer spending due to energy prices are dragging growth, despite the US being an energy exporter.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be kind of a ranging day. As I think I showed earlier, we're only at 27-point range here. But if this takes me out for a 5-point loss, it takes me out. That's all right. We're trading the system. I'm going to see a stronger rejection off that VWAP. I expect it to drop right like a rock, but we want to see a good rejection off that. There we go. So that's why I would strongly recommend against using the 1 minute for your entries. I mean, even if this doesn't work out, it's just, man, that 1 minute is just it's been a booger. So I've set this just as a quick 10 points. Hope it goes down. We'll see.
Just a heads up, at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, ECB's Panetta should speak in Washington.
Yeah, this is iffy. I think it's going to want.
Fitzmyer says, under current framework, Fed must increase the balance sheet, but preference would be to look for steps to reduce reserve demand so it can shrink further.
So my logic on this trade, guys, why I want to take very little risk. First of all, I have money in the bank, so I don't want to give money back. Second thing, we popped through the 20, but we rejected off the VWAP. So I'm based on my rules, the 20 and the VWAP, we're below that. We still like to be short.
So according to Israel's Channel 12, Trump spoke with Netanyahu at least once in the last 24 hours before his call with Lebanese President Or.
And this is a really tight stop, and most people, maybe you follow rules and go 10, but I follow my rules. So if this goes 5 points, I could go even tighter and have almost no risk. But if 7066, if this thing,
Surely expect to hear from ECB's Panetta.
if it goes above VWAP and really pushes up a few points, then I'm wrong and I'm wrong, and I give back a little money,
$89 billion.
and I'm still
$7 billion in 6-month bills and $89 billion in 3-month bills.
So I lose.
Sell $13 billion of reopened 20-year bonds on April 22nd, settle on April 30th. And US to sell $26 billion of 5-year tips on April 23rd, settle on April 30th. Fed's Myron says a persistently large Fed balance sheet does distort market.
That's not looking good for me right there.
For example,
we want to see a rejection, but it's not rejecting. So that's going to take me out, guys, looks like. But we're still plus. We lose 5 points. We're plus, 9 on the day, which is nothing to write home about.
So both can be done on April 20th, and settle on April 23rd.
This is my trade management. Yeah, again, you do you. I've had some people say, hey, you got to let it breathe. You got to let this, I capital preservation, if you look at my PDF and my rules, capital preservation is job one. So when I get money in the bank, I protect it like a Scrooge before Scrooge got a big heart.
Be justified in certain crisis circumstances.
But this doesn't look good for me going above VWAP here. And the NQ is going up. That doesn't look good for me. Let's see what the YM, RTY, they're kind of weakly moving up, but they're moving up. They're like the Jeffersons, moving on up. I'm showing my age. No one listening, even watching this recorded, will even know what reference of the Jeffersons is. We can, yeah, I'm about to be taken out, guys. It's only got 2 more. I'm at 765.50. There's my, yeah, I'm at, it's a 4.25. Yeah, so I'm going to lose, let's just call it 5 points. And it's going to pop me up. There you go, stop filled. So, all right. So I was wrong. But so let's do some Monday morning quarterbacking while we're on here. You saw I was considering,
Axios, an Israeli defense official.
You saw which, I mean, could have been, and this is where you're going to second guess yourselves all day long, which
nothing is final, but it could happen today, the official said.
So
getting according to Axios.
We looked at the 1 minute, right? Now look at the 1 minute here. So on this cross here, we could have been at 754, and it wasn't a fake out because here, which is my gut initial was to go long here, right? So in hindsight, that would have been the better play, obviously. But historically, now that we're starting to cross here, now we're gonna be chasing again. This is trading. this is where the nuances of whether you win or lose is going to be the small decisions like this you make. And that's it. I mean, you can't, you can worry about it or you can regret it, but you're going to have to click the button and make a decision. I made a decision. It wasn't the best one for this particular trade, but over the long run, the 5 minute is a more predictable feature. Have I had some huge wins by getting on the 1 minute? Absolutely, I have. So today on the day, we're +9. Nothing to write home about. Okay, we're not retiring on 9 points. But that's a big candle. Okay, we had this, and this was another indicator where I could have actually gotten out right here at almost break even. When you see a 5 minute candle that has a big bottom wick on this one, they tried to sell it down and then the buyers stepped right in and pushed that thing up. That's another strong signal. And I will take sometimes a 1 point, 2 point. If I see it's going to come up and take me, I have no remorse. I'll take quick pops. That's why I set that thing at 4.5 points, or let's call it 5 points. RTY is running. That would have been and I bet the YM's finally going. The YM Grandpa is just a lagger, man. The Dow is just a lagger. Oops.
Fitzmarin says government bond yields are not targeted by the Fed and are only an input process of meeting inflation and employment goals.
All right, I'll tell you what, guys. I'm trying to keep the streams to 2 hours, no longer. I'll look for another trade here, but I got some other stuff to do. But you looking at this sucker here? Look at this. On the 5 minute, but this 5 minute candle just ripped on you. But if you'd have gotten in here, even break of this candle at 7062, you'd be up 5-6 points. Again, nothing to write home about. This range is 27 points. So far, I'm going to end on a winning day. I'm not going to get back anything.
I have not seen evidence that private credit is a systemic risk.
So this is not, it's not a bad day, but it's not a perfect day because it's not totally trending. So you went down, kind of all this wishy-washy garbage here in the middle, and then you went up. If you trade with discipline and the nuances of knowing what I know, my first gut's instinct is what I should have gone with on this. I'm going to review so we can all learn from my mistakes. My first review is when we broke this, I should have been in at 756, right? On the 1 minute. And let's look at that on the 5 minutes. 756 was about right here when the 9 angle matters. And this is another thing I didn't talk about in my PDF. When the curvature of the 9 is turning up and the 20 is starting to want to flatten, this curvature on the 9 matters because it's going to tell you it wants to start going up. And we saw that on the NQ. We saw that on the NQ before. And the NQ was leading the ES. Sometimes the ES will lead the NQ, but typically the NQ moves faster. So when we saw this is a good indicator of watching because these things like to move together. So I'm going to leave you with that.
Says that I'm concerned by private credit impact on broad credit growth.
So we're plus 9 on the day. We won't give it back. We get into another trade here later. I'll give you an update. But if you have any questions, at the end of this video, somewhere here up on the top, if you're not familiar with the 920 EMA trading strategy, I will put a video, a 10-minute video that shows you the whole 920 EMA Cross strategy. It's really simple. You can always reach me at, look in the comments, you can reach me at my email, bighappytradingfreedom@gmail.com, or you can hit me on Telegram. Both the links are in the comments in the section below. Have a great day. And look at this thing just wants to run back up to where we at? So 70, 74. I don't think it's going to go through the high, but again, I've been wrong before and I'll be wrong again. So we'll see.
Current understanding of financial
All right. Have a great day.
conditions may be
Take care.
because private credit is not included, and that's distorting estimates of